Morning messages for Lionsgate. 8/8, the 8/8 portal, August 8th. What does Lionsgate mean? Because everybody is talking about how this is the biggest manifestation portal. And when we hear a lot of information about how this is the magical time, this is the time, this is the manifestation time, it can feel really overwhelming. And it can also kind of feel like unbelievable because when we only acknowledge this delusional aspect of positivity, but we don't acknowledge what we're actually feeling and experiencing in these initiatory processes, it can feel like kind of far away from us. It can feel out of reach almost. But it doesn't need to be out of reach. It just needs to have some time to integrate into who we are. Lionsgate, this is all about Leo season. And what it really means is when the star Sirius aligns in the sky with the sun and the moon. And this was the magical moment in ancient Egypt when everything would align and the pyramids would align with Orion's belt. This brings us to our astrological cosmic reset around our identity, because Leo is ruled by the sun, our identity, and the sun comes up every day. It is what we see. So we have this deep relationship with the sun and the moon, far beyond these other planetary alignments that are happening, which are affecting us because the larger planets are doing a whole thing, especially this year, this time, this age, this epoch. These times are the astrological times that we have been seeing as, the age of Aquarius, which refers to the information age, the age of the people connecting and coming together. And Aquarius is the opposite sign of Leo. Within astrology, we aren't just our sun sign, even our sun, moon, rising sign. We are so much more than that. It's also a map of our relationship to the stars, our relationship to the planets, and to the system as a whole as it evolves. So during this time, we can think about, okay, the manifestations, what we want to do, but also what gets highlighted is what we don't want, especially because the sun is in Leo. We also have Jupiter in Leo, which expands that vision. And we have the south node of the moon in the sign of Leo right now. And the south node of the moon is the karmic energy that we need to learn how to integrate and move through in order to evolve to the north node, which the north node is now in the sign of Aquarius. And also Pluto is retrograding in the sign of Aquarius. So there is a lot of tension right now on the Leo-Aquarius axis. And this is all bringing up inside us where we have created identities based on who we think we should be, who we think will be accepted, what gets the audience. Where are we creating just for the audience, just for the responses, rather than for our authenticity, knowing that this is who I am and I know I need to create in this way and step forward in this way, because the larger vision and the way that that is going to connect to the people on a greater scale is what makes this so important. It is what makes the creation have purpose. And it can be really hard to move forward into these new patterns that we are desiring when so much of the old patterning is still within our systems, is still within the connections that we have with people. This doesn't mean to just cut off those connections, but we need to be able to feel comfortable and safe bringing these patterns to the light, to the surface with others where they are perpetuating, and acknowledge how they need to change in order for us to grow and evolve. So much is about what we see outside of ourselves, what we see other people doing. But when we can understand that, yes, they are doing something that makes us uncomfortable, and this is how it makes me feel, and this is how it affects me. And you can acknowledge that this is something that is happening without labeling, without using these terms to label others, to kind of other them, or, just put them in a box and forget about it. We have this need to label people. We have this need to label ourselves. But the true essence of Leo, of the healthy ego, is understanding your identity without being confined to a box of what that means, of how you're supposed to be, of how you're supposed to act. That is what makes this time so powerful, is our intentions to move forward, is our mindset, is our identity. So Lionsgate, really, the reason why it is such a manifestation portal, I don't mean to, trivialize that, but the manifestation portals are places in the year, are, moments when the planets or certain elements combine to allow us to utilize these energies and really be more present with our relationship with these energies. But it is in our identity, it is in our action, our continuous action, and the connection to source in that action, whatever that source may be to you and what you believe in and how you define it. It is in the integrity of who we are and how we act. And that is what will reverberate outwards. That is what will come back to us within a year. Our choices of how we identify ourselves and we identify what is possible for us, and also allowing ourselves to see the differences with people, set those healthy boundaries, do not allow to be taken from, and also view their image as something that can evolve as well. We can hold that belief that others can evolve and that others can heal and grow without putting ourselves in a position where we are dependent on that, where our happiness or our well-being is dependent on that. It's easier said than done. A lot of the situations that we find ourselves in make us dependent on these things. So I'm not just saying that it's that simple, but in the continuous process of deciding to find our clarity within, that is how we can combat these toxic environments, toxic cycles with people, toxic patterns. And that is what I mean by Lionsgate being a portal of manifestation. So I hope that that cleared that up a little bit for anyone who might have just felt like, okay, you can say the woo-woo positive stuff, but what does it really actually mean, and how can I use this for myself in a way that helps me and helps the world around me? And I think that us getting clear on that in the morning is so important, because it will help us throughout our day. And I hope that this can give you some sort of reset if you did start your morning with some other patterns that were unhelpful, and that we can reset them.